Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'll be sharing my biggest regrets about my high school experience. These are all the things I would tell my younger self if I could go back in time. With the power of hindsight bias, these are the things that I would do differently if I could redo my high school experience. Number 1, actually try to figure out what I like to do. This is of course easier said than done, but I really wish I took more time to explore a variety of hobbies and interests that I had back in high school. I remember back then I was interested a bit in art, like I would see friends who knew how to draw, and I was also really interested in learning how to draw. So I dabbled in it like a bit, but I never persisted. I just wish that back then I had taken the time to explore different interests I had, and more importantly, actually stick to them. Actually stick to the things I found interesting. And sometimes if you don't know what you're interested in, try a variety of things. Pick one or two that seems cool and stick to it, because sometimes the things that we're interested in are the things that we're good at. And we get good at these things by actually sticking to it, being consistent, and getting better at it. When you're in high school or even in college, use all that free time you have to learn something new. Number 2, stop watching so many Chinese dramas. I spend so much time watching Chinese dramas, it's kind of insane the number of different movies I've watched. Probably watched over 50 in my entire high school career. I think I spent around 70% of my free time doing it. And that time could have been spent doing something that's actually more fulfilling, like reading or learning something new, having a hobby and sticking to some creative outlet. Looking back, watching all these Chinese dramas wasn't exactly fulfilling. It was a very mindless task that I was doing, and I really wish I didn't do that back in high school. In general, just be mindful of how you're spending your time. It's not to say that watching TV is bad. I still definitely do it a lot nowadays, but I'm a lot more mindful about when I watch a drama. I actually ask myself, will I be fulfilled after watching this? And if the answer is yes, then yeah, I'll go ahead and watch it, and I'll stop guilt-tripping myself every 5 minutes about not working and choosing to watch the drama. But sometimes you don't feel fulfilled after watching TV. Sometimes it might be more fulfilling to read a book, or to listen to a podcast, or maybe just to sleep. Sometimes we choose to watch TV because it's just a bad habit. It's something that's very mindless that we just default to, but that doesn't mean it's the right thing to do. So I guess my advice is to just be mindful of how you spend your time, and be mindful especially when you decide to spend that time watching TV. Number 3, document more. Take more photos. You have a phone for a reason. Also, take notes on the things you read. Maybe write up some book reviews about books that you read so that you don't actually forget everything that you just read in that nonfiction book about making habits, Atomic Habits. I read a decent number of books back in high school, especially during summer break, but looking back, I don't remember what any of those books were or what they were about. I really wish that I actually documented more about the things I read. Maybe just take more pictures about places I go to with family and friends. Journal more too, because I find that it's always nice going back and reading about your old thoughts, reading about the things that you struggled with, the things that you worried about, and just day-to-day mundane things that might not have felt journal-worthy back in the day, but today I might have really appreciated reading about what the younger version of Nicole thought about. This is the one thing that I've actually changed about myself ever since high school. Because last year, back in 2022, I started journaling every day. And I find that the easiest way to start journaling is by doing it digitally. I type up my journal entries. Well, back then I typed it up in a Microsoft Word document. And today I use an app called Remnote, but it doesn't matter exactly which app you do. Just choose the app or choose the method that has the lowest amount of friction. So it's the easiest for you to just open up that app or grab that piece of paper and start writing. If you're not sure about where to start, write about what happened that day. Write about what's on your mind. Write about things you're thankful for. And just having that to look back on 2 weeks later It's very nice to see how you've changed and things that worked out, things that you worried about but wasn't that big of a deal afterwards, or things that are still on your mind. Maybe this is a recurring theme that you really need to address. My last point is to actually implement the advice that you get. Instead of looking at advice about, oh, how to find your passion, or reading another article about why following your passion is terrible advice, actually do the things that the articles suggest. You never know what works until you actually try it out. Whether it be for discovering a hobby, I think I went through a phase back in high school where I was super worried about extracurricular activities, and I would read up so many articles about, oh, how to find an extracurricular activity that fits you. And the advice that I always gave was to try different things. And I would read that and I would be like, yeah, try different things. Let's see what else this article has to offer. But in all honesty, actually try different things. Actually take the advice that the article is talking about. If it's about studying, I remember back then I watched a lot of Ali Abdal's study videos that had great advice. But that's all I ever did. I stopped there. I only watched his videos, but I never actually applied the concepts that he talked about. And maybe applying the advice that you actually read about will get you somewhere instead of just mindlessly reading the advice and constantly looking for some silver bullet that will fix all your problems. That's not how it works. To this day, I still struggle with this the most, but I think I'm also a lot more conscious about it. I think in general, it's better to read a mediocre article and actually apply every single piece of advice that's in that article in comparison to reading 10 well-written articles with great advice but never actually doing anything that it tells you to do. You might learn a lot about time management by reading 10 different time management articles, but you're never actually gonna properly manage your time if you don't apply it. We give ourselves this false sense of productivity by learning a lot of material, but what you actually need to do is apply what you learn. So that wraps up the 4 main things that I really regret about my high school experience. Number 1 was not trying new things in order to find that hobby. Number 2, it was spending way too much time watching Chinese dramas. Number 3 was not documenting more about my experiences back in high school. And lastly, I wish I actually implemented the advice that I took. I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, check out some of my other videos I'll have linked here somewhere. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye!